Welcome to Why Real with Ryan Sautman. If you are interested in joining Real or would like to get to know someone, some of the agents, managing brokers, or key players within Real, this podcast is for you. I am Ryan Sautman, and if you have any questions about Real, feel free to reach out to our guest today here or me on my cell, which is 618-670-6418, or you can DM me on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Today, I'd like to welcome our guest, William Holder, who is out of Wayne, a suburb of Philadelphia on the main line. Did I say that right, Will?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So Will, who was a mega agent before coming to Real, and now even has a larger team thanks to Real. Will, how are you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. I do good. Appreciate you being on today. Well, Will, we'll just get right into it, man. You have a fascinating background that is me not giving that little description there. It doesn't even tell a quarter of it. So tell us about your real estate journey, man, and a little bit about who Will is.
Well, Ryan, first off, I want to thank you for letting me be on today. It's a pleasure. And everyone has their own story. I grew up in the Caribbean, moved here in 2002. Moved to this general region. Haven't moved much since I moved to the suburbs of Philadelphia. I like it here. I love that we're close to the beaches, close to an airport, close to major cities. It's a great location for me, and it's about as cold as I want to be. Given that I came from the Caribbean, so moved here around 2002. Finished my junior and senior year of high school, and honestly, really didn't know what I wanted to do. I mean, I just moved to a new country. Had to make new friends. I was on a metric system, for Christ's sake. Like, I didn't know what to do with myself. So like most people, I didn't, I had gotten into some colleges, but really just wanted to work and figure it out. So started working a few different jobs while I was doing school on the side. And one of those jobs was a banking job. I was always someone that I'm going to fill every day of the hour or every hour of the day working, if I'm not having fun or have plans, or now with my kids. But so I was working, and if I got done at my 9 to 5, I would have another job, and be doing different things to make money, because it's hard to make money when you don't know what you're doing. So got into a banking job, and around 2010, so this is about 5 years after high school, I was getting ready to buy my first home, working with my banking job. My mom had mentioned that we have a house that my granddad built in the Caribbean, and it needed a new roof. And, at the time, I really wasn't making a lot of money, didn't have a lot of means to help with that. But I said, hey, anything I could do, let me know. And she said, no, the tenants pay for that. And up to that point in my life, I'm 23 years old. It hadn't really clicked to me what real estate really was. I just knew I wanted to own a home and make 4% more every year and hopefully retire over making 6 figures and live a decent, okay life, right? And was the American dream I had painted in my head, like most people. Mm-hmm. So I listened to her, and I started looking into real estate investing. Bumped into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which most people who who get into real estate start with that book, because it's a simple book, and let's face it, we don't love to read. Read that book and decided, hey, I want to be a real estate investor. Like, let me go do this, right? Well, it turns out you need money to do that. So, I was like, okay, maybe I should find another way to make money. So I got my real estate license. I'm like, this will help me make a ton of money, right? Those guys are rich.
And also know the product.
Right. Exactly. That's another plus of it. So I got my real estate license, started selling a few houses, and realized I actually liked it. I liked it a lot more than my job, which was sitting at a bank selling loans to people, So, and that was getting really boring and, monotonous and just not what I saw myself doing for the rest of my life. And I had a great boss that wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. So for me, it was like, I need to pivot at some point. I sold real estate part-time for a few years, maybe 2-3 years, and then at a certain point, I looked at my wife and I said, I think I got to do this. At the time, she was my fiance, and we had a wedding coming up in a year. And she's like, "You're going to quit your job to go into real estate?" I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, you sure about this? And I'm like, no, not at all. But it's I'm gonna pull the plug. You know, it's do or die here. I can't keep doing a bunch of different jobs, right? I knew it was just never gonna work out. Not with my experience level at the time, with my degree, none of that stuff.
And she let you do it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
she
got a good one like me.
yeah, for sure. No, I don't doubt it to this day, man. I even about 6 months in, so I left my job mid May 2020 2015. Uh, even about 6 months in, I am doing everything. I'm literally door knocking, calling expireds, calling for sale by like everything that YouTube could tell you to do, I was doing. Um, and didn't have a long runway. My 401k that I cashed out was starting to look pretty low, and the wedding was coming. And I said to her, I'm like, hey, I think I might start driving Uber or doing something on the side to make some extra money. And she said to me in her non-business wisdom, because she's a teacher, said, if you do that, you're never going to focus on this. And honestly, it's probably the best advice I've ever gotten to this day
Wow.
is, just stay the path. So she was right. All that work I did for 6 months, even though I only sold 4 or 5 homes in that 6 months, it built this pipeline of business that really catapulted me to my first calendar year.
Hmm.
And that first year, I did 36 transactions, the first full calendar year, which was 2016. 2017, I did about the same. Um, Again, just kind of doing it all on my own, which I know is a mistake now, but back then I was stubborn and young and hungry, and you're 28 years old, guy quitting your job, you're gonna go figure it out, right?
Right.
Um, so that's really how it started for me, was that 2016, 2017 years that really helped me catapult. 2018, I um, hired my first assistant, and my production went from 45 homes to 69 homes. And then the next year, about 70 homes. And it was great. It was awesome. I was making more money than I can ever imagine in my entire life. And I did not have a super high price point. I was, my friends at that time in their 20s were not making a lot of money. But I didn't care, man. It was great. It was awesome. And I loved it, still do. And it was, it was easy to get up and go to work when you're working for yourself, right? And I know the hours I put in equals more money for me, not just an overtime rate, right? Um, so around 2020, when COVID happened and things went really crazy, I realized, man, I had just had my first kid in 2019. I'm working 18 hours a day, even with an assistant. I did about 70 deals back to back years, and I just couldn't do any more. And again, didn't have great coaching or leadership. So I just did what was the next thing that came naturally, which was a past client reached out and said, hey, I want to join your team. And I said, sure, like, well, I guess I have a team now. Um, so that's how the team started. So, my first 5 years was just making a ton of mistakes, like overestimating everything, building those mistakes into like a good foundation, uh, getting over my ego and understanding that I need help and I can't do everything on my own, and just learning to stay consistent with it, honestly, more than anything.
Awesome. Awesome. So then you started building that team, and what is the, I guess, at what point did you start growing to when you were with your same brokerage, and then maybe when you started to look at real, and what did that transition look like there?
Sure. Yeah, Ryan. I around 2020, like I said, around the end of 2020, two past clients reached out. They said they want to join the team, and honestly, I had so much business, it was perfect. But I didn't really look into what building a team was. Right. I was listening to some podcasts like everybody else. I was trying to learn on the fly. And that's not a problem when you have two, three, four agents. But as you start to hire more people and as you start to scale, I literally made every mistake under the sun. And I've course corrected constantly. I've figured things out. Right now, where we stand, we're about 5 years into the team. We have 27 agents. We have about 8 admin, 3 local, which are our operations manager, our listing coordinator, and our transaction coordinator, one of them, and then 5 virtual. We have one virtual transaction coordinator, 2 virtual assistants for paperwork, and then 3 for marketing. So, actually, that's 9 people, not 8. I don't know. I did bad math there. So that's our back end. The way I've structured the team, I've always known this, but I didn't really know how to do it. Was I want to make it the easiest place for an agent to thrive and make as much money as possible and stay, right?
Mhm.
I'm creating relationships with agents that came from past clients or were referred to me by friends or just knew me from the industry and wanted to join me. And I don't really want a team that's a churn and burn model. I know there's very successful teams that do that. I'm not building a team for that. I was doing perfectly fine as an individual agent. Actually, my profit margins were better as an individual agent, and that's something most people don't want to really admit. But I
Yeah.
liked what I was doing as a team. Just like I got through um, the tough times of understanding what an individual agent were and selling more and more homes and kind of getting burnt out. What I realized was that jolt of joy I got from selling a home, which I still do, I would get from an agent saying, "Hey, I just made 6 figures last year in commission," or I mean, we had 2 agents do, there's 3 agents on this team that are probably going to make $500,000 this year in commission, like take home. And I'm like, man, what's the next goal? So I wrote it down for 2027. I want 5 agents that make $1 million take home on our team, like staying on the team, right?
Wow.
And I'm gonna do it because whenever we write stuff down, it's like you got to do it, right? So for me, that's the structure I'm building is to keep those people, right? And it's always been like, how do you keep those people? Well, you need a cost-effective structure to do that. And that leads into why we decided to merge or move over to Real from Remax. I was with Remax for 10 years, actually going on 11. And I was an individual agent, joined the brokerage. My broker owners became my partners in 2022. They asked me to help them build the brokerage, which because they saw I was already building my team, and they're like, "Hey, let's figure something out, and you can help us build a brokerage." And what I learned is that I don't want to be a broker owner. Like I don't know why anybody does. To be honest with you, it doesn't seem like fun.
There's
Um,
money to be made there, right? That's what they
I
say.
guess I don't know. I like way easier money than that. Um, I don't like speaking to lawyers. I just don't. They're not my type of people. I'm good with just building a team, building a business, and I'll deal with those headaches because they're worth it. Not the broker side of things. I mean, and on the broker side of things, unlike a team, you don't have as much control, right? Like agents are kind of building their own business within your business, and it's some of them can be frustrating businesses, right? So I've just learned the cost structure, the model. Also, we're in southeastern Pennsylvania, so we're on the border of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, and I started to spread into these states. And because Remax had a franchise model, essentially I had to be with different franchises, which made growing my team a very limiting possibility, right? I had to operate under 2 different platforms and couldn't use the same CRM. It was just, it wasn't right. And,
Yeah.
honestly, Remax didn't come out with a team structure until about 3 years ago, which is like 100 years too late, right? So, this isn't a dump on Remax
No, no.
conversation. It's just, it wasn't working for me. And I'm looking at what's happening in the industry. I'm looking at, Compass Buy Anywhere. I'm looking at, like models like EXP and KW. It's starting to plateau.
Hmm.
Looking at companies like Compass, who literally wrote everyone a blank check and couldn't grow past 30 something thousand agents. And then I see Real, and a lot of the agents I know that are doing well are moving to that company, and I'm following it online. And I'm looking at that, and I'm saying, and they're growing to 32,000 agents without paying anyone. And when I had that conversation with Joel, we have a pretty nice office. It's a great location for an office. He's like, look, we don't pay anyone to come. Like, if you want to come, you come, and it's for our benefit. And that honestly was a great kind of reverse sell for me. Like, being in sales, I knew what he was doing, but I'm like, hey, when you have something that good that you don't have to pay people to come get it, that's a good thing,
Yeah.
right? And I did. We shopped the other brokerages. I looked at the other cloud-based ones. It just honestly made the absolute most sense. I'm not, I don't know. I've seen the other models. They're all kind of the same version of the same thing, just like different slight tweaks.
Hmm.
Uh, this is better, and I honestly do believe that. And now that we've been over, it's really what's catapulted my growth, because now I'm not limited to costs per agent in onboarding new agents to my team or to my office. We've been over for 6 months, but really not even 6 months, 5.5 months, but really, our whole office has been over a month and a half. And I'm literally just getting calls from agents that are like, what's going on here? Like, let's have a conversation. These were agents that couldn't get on the phone with me when I was recruiting to a Remax, right? So, our team's grown about 10 agents in the last few months. Our office has grown agents, and everyone's loving it. We're loving the support we're getting. We're loving the structure, and it's allowing me to do what I wanted to do from the beginning, which is
Hmm.
build, like I said, this team that supports an agent's uh, in every aspect, and I mean in really every aspect. Like we have our VAs on a Slack channel with every one of our agents. If they want offers written, if they want listings prepared for, if they want addenda done, if they want comps ran, like I have a VA team that handles all of that for my agents. So their time is spent prospecting and following up, right, and booking appointments. And I'm coaching and training them. I mean, we're providing them with leads, but like, let's be real. I can give you all the leads in the world. If you don't know how to work the systems, if you don't know how to follow up, if you don't know how to close, if you don't have a buyer presentation
Right.
or a listing presentation, it's just like throwing money in the wind, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then what I've realized is our agents that are just performing like crazy, they need that back end support. So we built this VA team to help them do everything. We have a listing coordinator that's boots on the ground here that will put up the sign, do the MLS paperwork, do the write up, get it all ready to go, meet the photographer, just handle everything so that you can then just take over your listing again and run with it, right?
Right.
Our structure is that as an individual agent, you can build a business that's selling over 100 homes, and we have some agents that'll do that this year, like, and not really be losing sleep at night, right? Because you have the support for it, and you get that in a team structure. It's really hard for an agent to consider, man, should I go, like do my own thing? I'm essentially, with the leads I'm getting, I'm making money here.
Yeah.
Um, and I have all the support I need. I mean, for me to hire all the staff would be hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, and the team's not even taking that from me because we've kind of a soft cap on our agents. I think I've kind of figured it out. The other thing is with the downline model. For me, that was a really big part of this. I knew when I was building our brokerage that I needed to become, for lack of a better word, like sticky, right? Like
Hmm.
agents needed to want to stay. And how do you do that? Well, yeah, you can give them better splits, and we have great splits, but also, um, if you have ancillary services like title, insurance, mortgage that your agents can be a part of, can have ownership in, uh, and now downline, why would they ever leave? Like, they're making, a lot of my agents are recruiting to our team because they understand the value of the downline
and
model.
and they feel like they have ownership. They literally have ownership within the business. Not it's
Yeah.
not it's not just Will, who's the owner broker, owning everything and making, and what everybody feels like is Will's the one making all the money, while we're all just working and paying him monthly fees and all this stuff. With a traditional model, this model, everybody literally feels like they have ownership within the team, within Real, with it all.
Yeah, no, if I kept thinking like if I'm still me and I'm coming into the industry thinking the way I think, what would I want, right? And that's essentially what I'm building and what I have the ability to build with the real model, right? Like they're letting us have our own location, and they're not tying us to their title companies and all these things. They have those, but we are allowed to do our own thing,
Mhm.
and we're working really hard, and my agents are massively profitable from it, and they see the value in it, and they're telling everyone. I mean, our growth has been organic. I have not recruited to my team yet. I haven't done any recruiting to my team since I've started the team. It was all pretty organic, and in the last 6 months, it's been like rocket fuel organic because my agents are like screaming to other agents, like, "What are you doing? You got to join us," and that's because of the platform we're operating under, which is real, and how we operate and what we have for them. So I think I always said this. I think successful people are going to be successful anywhere they go,
Mhm.
right? With the right platform and coaching, you'll get there significantly faster. That's it,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
just speeds up what was going to happen already,
Yeah.
and limits mistakes, which again I wish I had done 10 years ago. But I like to learn the hard way.
Do you think there's a scenario where, at some point, I think every agent that has big aspirations within the industry, like every agent at one point wants to be an owner broker, right? Like I think everybody does. Do you think that the feeling of being the owner broker, and everything that they can do for the agents that are in the brokerage, do you think sometimes the dream of being that owner broker actually might be misaligned? Because there are so many that I've talked to that are no longer owner brokers that have either joined another brokerage or joined Real, and they realize like everything that it was not roses once you become the owner broker, like you were saying. It actually is what they're dreaming of. Is it more of a team model within Real? Like that's all the fun stuff, and that's all the stuff that they're actually dreaming of that they wish they could achieve or wanting to achieve as an owner broker. Do you think I guess their dreams might be misaligned on what the title of that is actually?
Yeah, 100%. And I was there too, right? With my lack of understanding of the business, it was that I thought, you tier up, right? You're an agent, and then you're a team leader, and then you're a broker owner, and your income is supposed to match that tier. Well, the
Yeah.
reality is no. If you actually did the math on profitability, and to take a step back, the only reason you should ever start a business, which is becoming a broker owner, is with the intention of what can you sell this for in 10, 15, 20, 30 years, or however far ahead you're looking, right? If that's your goal, you can sell a team too.
Mm-hmm.
And the value of a business is based on its profitability. If you looked at the profitability of most of these brokerages, they're bleeding money, right? Teams are more profitable than brokerages a lot of the time. So if you're thinking about, oh, how can I sell this? You can sell it if you
Mm-hmm.
structure it correctly, even if it's within a brokerage. And you can make it more valuable because you don't have to worry about all the other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's plenty of team leaders that have done it. Now, that's the way I kind of look at everything now is whatever I'm building here, can I sell this? I don't plan on ever selling my team. I love what I
Yeah.
do. I'm going to keep growing this thing. I have nothing, no desire to stop. I'm 38 years old, man. I feel like I'm just getting started. Outside of anything crazy happening, I think I'm going to keep going for a long time. So I don't really have any desire to sell it. But if I did or I wanted to, I could, and it would be worth more now. It was worth more even when I owned my Remax than the Remax. So I know the value in it. And
So you could
then
in this model as well, you could sell your team and still have a retirement from your line that you've brought from your network from Real.
I mean, I've heard people buying lines. I've heard funds buying lines, like these well-established lines. I've heard of stuff
Wow.
like that. Yeah,
Wow.
it's yeah, and you think about it. I mean, if they can get it at 50% of the value for the next 10 years and
Yeah.
get some sort of involvement in it, it's a
Yeah.
pretty smart investment. Wish I had that kind of money, but that's that. There's a lot of games out there to be
Hmm.
played, and the downline model feeds into a ton of them. Also stock. I mean, I even though I'm heavily real estate investor, like I invest in real estate, it's my primary focus. I haven't lost fact that the stock market is very stable, and if you get into a company like this that's trading at Y, and in 10 years it's X, and you've been gifted a ton of stock over the years, and then that stacks as well, and there's
Yeah.
value in that too. So I'm paying attention to all the different things that are of value being here, that most agents don't even look at because they're struggling to get their business going, which I totally understand and empathize with. I mean, I was an individual agent at one point. When I see things like 71% of agents did no business in 2025, I'm like, Jesus, like that must be so painful to come into something so excited and just
Yeah.
not happen.
Yeah.
And I would implore most agents, if you're starting in this industry, I would start on a team. Find a team that's going to pour
I
the amount of
agree.
care and like love and energy into you that you need, and especially in a downline model. And this is the other thing people don't think about. If you're on a team at a traditional brokerage, it's a negative effect for that team leader to make you too good, right? Because if
Right.
you're great, you're going to leave. If they make you think the way they think, you're going to leave, right?
Yeah.
And what did they benefit from? Whereas with Real and the downline model, an individual agent on my team that's a producer, like I said, I have a kind of soft cap on my earnings per agent. If they break off and start their own team, which I tell them I'm happy to help them with, their downline is going to be worth more to me than their commission was as an
Right.
individual agent. So I have nothing limiting me from giving you everything. Like I'm teaching you
I love that.
everything.
Yeah.
And
Such a
that's
good point.
it's and if team leaders tell you that's not the truth and they don't think about that, they're lying to you. I mean, even
Right.
me, I thought about it. I believe me. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, doing this, what if my killers leave? Like, when I was with that other model, I'm like, there goes everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And that so a couple things to point out on that that is mind blowing to me. You mentioned something about burn and churn teams, and it feels like whenever it's almost in the beginning whenever an agent's first starting out and they're seeing these paychecks come across and they're seeing over 60-75% of it getting cut down to, they see that they're taking this check to from the title company and then going and taking it to their brokerage, and then they only get 25% of it, that whenever they're on a team. In the beginning, when you just don't know things but you just see 25%, that freaking hurts. Like, it sucks. Okay, how can I grow as fast as possible and get away from that as fast as possible as a someone that's joined the team? But on the other end, it is hard as a team owner that is not that has a model where you got to pay the team splits, you got to pay the franchise fee, you got to pay the brokerage fee, you got to pay monthly fees, all those things that are just taking out of the individual agent's pocket that's on a team. This model you got team fees and you got real fees, and like that's basically it. So and with those team fees, you are as allowed to be as flexible as you really want to be. Real doesn't restrict us hardly next to anything, as far as how we want to structure our teams. So to that point where I was going to get to, did I hear right? And you said that you have a goal of 5 agents on your team to make $1 million
Next year, yeah. So
next
this
year.
year it's 500,000, and next year it's 1 million, and that means everyone else is being brought up too, right? So the people that their goal is 50, I want it to be 100, and
Yeah.
100 to 250,
Yeah.
and 250 to 5, and that's like the in order for this to continue being fun, which it's important for it to be fun, right?
Yeah.
Like I could keep flipping houses and buying rentals and selling some real estate and be perfectly fine and do okay. Like I don't, the team's got to be fun. I'm doing this
Yeah.
because I want to enjoy my life and enjoy, not to be cliche, but enjoy the journey, right? And I'm not trying to just be a constant ball of stress. I actually want to enjoy doing this. So, in order for that to happen, I need to show true results. And for me, that's from accountability. It's something we talk about on our team constantly. If I'm not holding you accountable, that means I don't care. And it's the same thing for myself. If I'm not holding myself accountable, I don't care. And if I want to be in an industry that's taken seriously, that agents are looked at as real estate financial advisors, not that realtor that screwed this other person over. Sorry, I'm not allowed to say that on here. That for me is the most important. I want to bring up the standard, which is why
Yeah.
I created this back end to do paperwork to limit mistakes and help agents grow faster. And so I'm building with all of that in mind that I want to raise the standard. So why not raise the standard within our team,
Right.
right? Why not it be that teams could have agents making seven figures, right? If you're not thinking like that for your agents, you're not raising the standard, right? And I'm not holding myself accountable, and therefore holding them. And we look at like what's our one shining light. What's our goal, right? Like what is the thing I want to get to? And I know what my goal is. Having successful agents gets me to that goal, right? So if that means continuing to build them up to be these mega producers and still remain, you know, it's kind of corny, but before we joined the team, our model was very similar to work hard, be kind, right? Like that's who we are. Like we like to be easy to work with, but we
Yeah.
work very hard. And our clients like rave and rant about us. I mean, we're about 5-star reviews. That's what we like, right? We throw a lot of client events. Like a lot of our business is sphere based because of that. So we're on a model that reflects that now, right?
Hmm.
And since I have that model, I want to keep pushing the limits. I mean, I would
And think,
love to say that I have 5 agents that made $1 million each last
yeah,
year.
that's so awesome. And like, and if so, if you're someone listening who's not in real, and you're thinking like, how is that even fathomable? It seriously, it really, really is. I am seeing more and more. The more I'm interviewing, the more I'm talking, the more I'm just getting to know agents within Real that have these mega teams. You, Rafe Kwamar, like you guys have absolute rock stars that are making a ton of money within your team, and they don't have any desire to leave and that's just not normal. You're on a if you're not within Real, you probably said it. You already said it yourself. You were stressing like, "Whoa, what if Jeff leaves? Like Jeff's a killer. Like he's a dog, and he just goes and he helps me provide. Like he makes X amount of dollars for me every single year. What if he leaves? You can go to sleep at night, decide like if Jeff decides he wants to go and create his own team, you are supportive of him. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. One, for him to leave, someone better throw a boatload of cash at him, right? And like, I'd be happy for him at that point. Like, awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's great. I'm happy for you. I don't see where that makes sense and it's possible. I know there's brokerages out there that love to buy agents. I personally will never be a part of a brokerage that doesn't have some sort of a cap. And that's the thing we were talking about, and that's why I have a cap for my
Yeah.
team too, is because um, you're at a certain point, there's diminishing returns from being with that brokerage, right? So why are they taking a bit of every deal, right?
Yeah.
And that's always been my thought process. Even when I was with Remax, they had a monthly fee. It was flat. That was it, right? Again, that essentially is a cap, right? Real has one of the lowest, which makes growing a business and scaling a business, especially a team, very, very, very much more profitable than most agencies. And they also allow you to build it however you want. Like you said, they give you the flexibility of still being that entrepreneur that you want it to be. You're not a cog in the wheel. You're actually like driving the car with them, right? And
Hmm.
or a cog in the engine. There's no cog in the wheel. But so that to me is important. Like I see the partnership aspect of all of this really, really, really important. Like I partner with my agents. They're called agent partners because I'm partnered with them on deals they're doing. I'm partnered with them on rental properties. I'm partnered with them in every transaction they do. Like we're partnered on our title company. I'm partnered with them.
Yeah.
Real looks at us the same way. I think when they say they're bringing out an AI CRM and they're going to pay you for every lead you put in there, to me that's partnership. That's a
Yeah.
company thinking like, I want this person to get a portion of this. I'm not just going to building another income stream,
Right.
right? When they say, you make X amount in commission, which again, there's a cap, so there's really no benefit to them paying us for making more money once you've capped. They say when you get to this great goal, we're going to give you a stock award, right?
Yeah.
Like again, no benefit. They're giving you ownership. That to me is partnership, and that's what real estate should be about. That's I do the best transactions with agents I know and I've worked with before. We have a partnership.
I
Um,
love it.
that's what real estate is. It could be on a team. It could be with a brokerage. It could be
Hmm.
with other agents at other brokerages. There doesn't have to be this like, if I show him my ways, he's going to eat up my market. Come on, man. Like, there's 500,000 houses in this county.
Right.
There's no one agent could sell 500,000 homes, right? Um, so it's just, and that's just the one county, Philadelphia. There's millions. It's just, I hate that mentality, and I'm glad that there's models thinking about that with the way they're building.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So now that you've been in Real for a bit, how many years has it been actually?
I've only been with Real for 6 months.
6 months. Awesome. And you're growing that fast. And so that's another thing. We kind of talked about it in the beginning. You have been able to bring in how many more agents because of your team splits and everything has been able to be much more flexible with Real.
Yeah, my first 4.5 years, we got up to 15 or 16 agents. In the last 6 months, we're at 27 now. So it's
Double.
really jumped up. And I have agents currently onboarding. I mean, part of my marketing team had to switch to onboarding just to like handle the workload of it. And again, this isn't even us recruiting yet. Like this
Hmm.
is just from the platform and people knowing and liking what they're seeing. Once we start recruiting, that's rocket fuel.
Yeah. So now that you've been in for 6 months here, is there been anything that has, now that you've been in, so on the outside, when you first join, a lot of times you're looking at the numbers and the numbers make sense for your team members, for you, for everybody. But once you get in, there's a lot of times there's things like, oh, this is actually really cool. I didn't realize like how Real does things this way or whatever it might be. Is there anything that surprised you or surpassed expectations now that you've been on the inside for 6 months?
I think there's a few things. One, I like that they're continuing to build and add things that are
Yeah,
profitable to the agents. They
quickly.
already had a great platform,
Yeah,
right? They didn't have to make it much better. It seems like they're kind of like me, where it's like, how can I tinker with this and continue making it better, right? If you
yeah,
ask my operations manager, she'll tell you he drives me crazy. Like that's you have these ideas and you want to make it better for everyone, and they seem to be doing that. So that's one thing that I really like. The other thing that I like that Real's been doing is that they're really actually truly leaning in on AI versus
yeah,
a lot of these brokerages calling themselves tech brokerages. To have an AI CRM to really be doing the things they're doing already, and they've been doing for, it seems, years now. I wish I started earlier. It shows how forward thinking they are. The other thing, and I will say that really truly I is again back to why I'm here, is the collaboration aspect. The minute we came over and all of I just posted on my social media, I had real agents reaching out to me that are in our surrounding counties, like, hey, we do a meetup, come hang out. Like,
it's awesome.
we're super excited you're with us. Like, and I'm having lunch after this with an agent that's 2 counties over that we did a deal 7 years ago, and he saw him with the company, and we're talking about co-sponsorship for using our locations. Like, we're finding ways to collaborate that we wouldn't have had before. There would have been no benefit in him or and I meeting for a lunch that would cost us money because we're taking time out of our day. now there's true benefit, and I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing it up and I'm seeing it down. What I mean by that is the people in my upline, which I selected carefully because I wanted to grow to their level. And for me, if you're thinking about growing, you need to be in the room with the people where you're at, right? Or where you want to be, right?
Mhm.
So they are paying attention to me. They are responding to my messages. They are adding me into their free coachings and trainings. And I'm now essentially doing that for the people in my downline, right? Like we're creating a coaching platform. We are doing monthly trainings. I am doing one-on-one coachings with agents in my downline, even if they're not on my team, because that's the only way this works. I want them to be profitable. I want
Yeah.
them to make as much money as possible. Um, so that collaborative nature doesn't just go wide; it goes north and south, and it's been
Mhm.
really, really fun for me to like be able to have that with agents. I didn't have that option before.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very cool. Love it. And to your point, as far as the scaling, the way that Real has scaled the technology that's coming out on a regular basis, if you pay attention to stocks at all, and like I like to pay attention to stocks a little bit as well. But one of the things that a company that when people love really going in on stocks is if they have a product that's good quality and they're expanding and growing fast, but they have a leader that is just like a true strong leader and always carries like a startup business mindset. You're thinking like Jensen with NVIDIA, the largest company in the world. They are constantly pushing themselves to newer levels. Like they are not just settling. And that's what I love about Tamir. Tamir, like as we are growing, Tamir is a true strong leader that we can all get behind. And he, even though we're growing at a rapid pace, and the technology, like they could slow down the technology if they wanted to, but that's not the mindset for everybody at Real. Like everybody, it's always just let's push it further and let's push it further, let's push it more, because the technology is outpacing everybody right now. So at least in my opinion, it is but that's not good enough for them. They just want to keep pushing it to the next level, and that's what high level CEOs do. So, and
Yeah,
that's what I love.
and with AI, like
Yeah,
get on the train or be left at the station, man. Like
yeah,
what are you doing if you're trying to fight back against this? You know, you're that person that didn't want computers first, or cable
yeah.
TV. Like, come on, it's just it's gonna
Still
happen.
got that
So you
VHS
might as
tape.
well. Yeah, and look, if the robots take over, I want to be their friend.
Yeah,
So like, I'm being very nice to my Chat GPT. Like I just what are you doing? And as an
yeah,
agent, if you're not thinking this is what's best for my client, then you're not growing. You're not willing to grow, right?
yeah,
And we know that Zillow partnering with ChatGPT is what's best for our clients to put their listings on platforms like that, right? Like we know it's going to get them the most views. We know it's going to put them in front of the most people. So, we know that we're asking AI to clean up our write-ups to make them more AI search friendly. Like, we're using that to learn more about our listings on our listings appointments. Like, AI will scrape public records databases and give you information you didn't have to show up with that seller before. Like you would have had to take
yeah.
hours to get that information. Now it's available like that. Use it right, and it will really help you grow, right? And also save you a ton of money. I mean, the amount of time it saves us, it's money. I don't. I mean, I have 27 agents. I don't really need a sales manager because of AI, right?
Yeah.
Like all of these systems are doing this information for me, and like I have a Chat GPT agent set up that goes in and it puts together a report so that I'm ready to sit with my agent and go over all of this and coach them and train them. The things that you need to spend a lot of money to do in the past are much more affordable, which makes your team slash business more profitable. Also gives you more money to spend on the things your agents need, like leads and
Mhm.
systems and processes.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, Will, I truly appreciate your time, man. Hey, what's a good way for if someone wants to connect with you? Let's say multiple ways. One, if an agent has a referral for you, in the Pennsylvania area, or if someone wants to reach out to you that is interested in joining Real, what's a good way for an agent to get a hold of you?
Reach out to me directly on my cell, 484-744-4053. Feel free to call or text. My email is will@williamholderrealty.com, or you can find us on any of our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, everything, the William Holder Realty team. Just look us up, you'll find us, and I'm happy to talk to anyone. After meetings like this, I generally get a few calls like talking about the company and are interested in it, and it's an easy conversation to have because it's honestly just that good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on today, man. I'd like to thank Will for being on the guest today as a guest today, and for joining us on Why Real podcast with Ryan Sautman here. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm within Real Broker based out of the St. Louis area myself. If you are interested in joining Real or have questions, feel free to reach out to Will or me via direct message on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or a call/text to me. And my phone number is 618-670-6418. And be sure to follow the pod for more interviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. Have a blessed day, guys. Thanks, Will.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan.